Well, hello there, Tampa Bay, and welcome to the Tampa Bay Community Network Sports Talk. I'm your host, Coach Chuck White, and my guest is Miss Clemmy Perry. She's the founder of Women of Color Golf, and she's a graduate of my alma mater, Florida A&M University, better known as FAMU. She finished with a BS degree in business management, and she did her postgraduate work at Nova Southeastern University in the field of technology. She served for 20 years as a training manager at Lockheed Martin Aerospace and Defense System. She's currently employed at Sedeco Hospitality Corporation. So at this time, it's my pleasure, my honor and distinction to say to her, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, it's always a pleasure having ladies, and especially a lady of your caliber on the show. And of course, you're no stranger to me because I know you and your parents because you're the daughter of one of the great athletes that came out of Tuskegee Institute in Alabama,
Yes.
Coach Charles Perry, who also coached at Blake in football and basketball. And your mother, oh man, Miss Doris Reddick, she's a graduate of Bethune-Cookman University, and she's formerly of our Hillsborough County School Board or School Board member. So let's talk about why and how you got into golf, because that's the thing we're going to let our many listeners hear.
Oh, well, thank you, Coach. Well, I initially got into golf. I was working with Lockheed Martin, and we had a job layoff. And after that, I met Dr. Mike Cooper, who encouraged me to go to some of the National Black Golf Hall of Fame events. And as I went with him to those events, I got to learn the history of golf and got very fascinated about it and thought it would be something I would want to learn.
Well, golf is a very fine sport. It used to be my entire life. I would have my hands on a golf club just about each and every day, and I had the opportunity to teach golf through the years. Well, I know you've enjoyed all of that, so you are the founder, and how many participants did you start with?
Yes, so we've been in existence about 4 years. We're a new organization, and in 4 years we've trained about 350 minority women and girls on the basic fundamentals of golf.
Well, if you have that large number, you must have had some kind of way to give you inspiration to start your board of directors, which you had so much to say about with Dr. Mike Cooper.
Yes, yes. So Dr. Mike Cooper was instrumental in helping us to get the nonprofit set up. We do have advisory board members, Dr. Mike Cooper, Kenneth Perry, Mr. Ray Oliver, and Marcel Jackson. And we have an advisory board as well that encompasses Mr. Gary Hartfield, Vashti Amaro.
Well, I know Mr. Mike Cooper very well.
Yes.
He had a lot to do with my upcoming in golf, not as a little student, but
Yes.
I would always get ideas how
He's
to
wonderful.
teach my golf students. And I played with him one time for a few holes, and he gave me some very important advice about golf. And he was the golf pro at Rogers Park.
He was.
Yes,
He
and
was.
many people know him back through that era. So I guess our listeners or viewers might have something to think about, thinking about Mike Cooper. And he has his doctorates in the golf management. And where is he located in Tampa?
Yes, he is actually located here in Tampa, and he is an adjunct professor at Springfield College, and he also works for OAI Sign Company, but he also chairs the World Golf Foundation Diversity and Inclusion Task Force to help make golf look more like the changing face of America. So he's pretty busy.
Yeah, he's always been a very busy person. I think he had a son that played golf.
He does.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
And a daughter too. I
He
think.
does that.
Yeah,
Yes, the
right,
starter
yeah.
plays. They both.
So,
I
it's been
understand
a
they
while
both play
since
as
I've
well.
seen these people, so I kind of think about them quite often. And now that you're
Yes.
bringing that up, but what progress have you made now that you like to talk about with your organization?
Yes. Well, I think our biggest accomplishment is that we received an invitation to go to the White House from President Barack Obama based on our
Wow.
efforts in bringing more minority women and girls into the game. So we had that opportunity to receive a Champions of Change Award for that progress in golf.
Going to the White House
did.
with these people, I know they enjoyed it immensely well.
We did.
But how can one get involved? You know, say there are many people out there
Sure.
hearing us now. Can you give some advice, instruction, or let them know how they can get into your organization?
Absolutely. So the way we work, we have a partnership with Hillsborough Community College, and you can register through our beginner classes through Hillsborough Community College. We actually have a class that is starting April 28th, and it's a 5-week session, and that 5-week session for the beginner series is about $249. And they can also visit our website.
Now, you said Hillsborough Community College.
Yes.
And they can register. Is that through the Ebo campus, the Dale Mabry campus, or what campus?
It is through the tampatraining.org. It's through the continuing education program.
Any specific person that directs that?
Actually, if you go to their website, Tampa Training, and through Hillsborough Community College, you'll see a link to beginner golf classes, and we will be starting those classes with Top Golf in Brandon.
Okay, let's walk through this golf program now, because that's a very important thing. I know
Sure.
a person is saying if they wanted to get into golf or get into your organization, what are the first step, or what are the steps they have to take? Where
Okay.
do they have to go? Do they
Right.
have to pay?
Okay.
Take it from there.
Those are great questions, Coach. So the way we work is we like for them to take the beginner class, which they can register through Hillsborough Community College, and that is a 5-week course. Once they finish the 5-week course, we then recommend, and that's Beginner 101. Then we move the girls to a Beginner 201 class, and then they spend another 6 weeks, and then primarily that particular instruction is outdoors at a golf course. Once they finish that, we then begin to play with them monthly at a local golf course, monthly, so that they can begin to get practice and learn how to play the game and get more comfortable with it.
Now, there must be some fees attached.
Yes.
And the fees attached might be through your organization, maybe through the participants.
Right. Okay.
Let's break that down and go through
Sure.
it.
So the fees would run for the 5-week beginner class. That fee is $249, but that includes the lessons, the balls, the facility rental or the golf course and the clubs. If they decide they love it, like most people, as you found, most people do love
Yeah.
it, then we move you to the intermediate class.
Okay.
And the intermediate fee is the same price as well, $249. Once you finish the beginner and the intermediate class, then we ask you to join Women of Color Golf, and that annual fee is $75 for the year.
Is that all?
That's it.
But now, when I talked with you earlier, you told me about a golf manual, or a manual that some of them
Yes.
get.
Right.
And how important is that manual?
Okay.
And
Yes.
is it a mandatory thing, or is it a volunteer
Right.
thing, or how important is that?
Well, we do have a manual, and actually I wrote the manual with a local PGA professional, Mr. Jim Wright, who is at Countryside. And Jim and I decided that we would put together a basic fundamental curriculum, a very easy step-by-step to follow guidebook. And it's important because it gives the ladies written instruction on the type of lessons that they're going to learn about. So we do recommend it. It is optional, and that fee is $24.95 for the manual, but it's highly recommended, and it's very useful tool.
Now, You talked about videos. You talked about some things that you did at the golf tournament. So you have taken a trip to Washington. You took a trip over here with the group
Yes.
to Innisbrook to the golf
did.
course.
We did.
And you saw the one-time world greatest
We
golfer,
did.
Tiger Woods.
We did.
I know that must have been very exciting to both your participants and to you.
It was thrilling because, you know, we didn't expect Tiger to come. Initially, when we were planning to go to Valspar, we were going to take the class that we had, who'd only been in session for right at about 5 weeks
Right.
of their golf career. And then they made the announcement that Tiger Woods accepted to play at Valspar. And so we were just extremely thrilled. We were sitting at the fourth hole. I mean, we had great seats. So they really got to experience a tournament, a championship tournament. And they'd only been playing golf 5 weeks, and they saw Tiger, you know, walk right in front of us. It was great.
Just about close enough for him to hear you say, Tiger.
We were that close.
Yes. Well, I know when he signed the agreement that said he was coming to Innisbrook to play,
Yes.
oh man, that meant so many participants would be there. They were about 12 rows deep and all over the place.
It was record-breaking crowds.
Yes, and the winner came along with him. They wasn't hollering the winner's name. They was hollering Tiger, Tiger.
That's true.
But now, did you get a chance to talk with anybody at the golf course who's had something to say about Tiger? But I do know you say you had breakfast
We did.
with this young lady, Mrs. Johnson.
We did,
who was
yes.
one time the owner, maybe still be BET Network.
Yeah.
And
Well, she is now currently the owner of Salamander Resorts, and there are several luxury resorts across the country. And we were very fortunate to get an invitation to have breakfast with her. She received the Cecil B. Day Hospitality Award. And so we took some of the board members, some other ladies, and some of our young millennials to get an opportunity to meet with Ms. Johnson and see her receive that award.
wow, I had breakfast with her.
We did.
Yes. I've never played that course, but I have visited on 2 or 3 occasions.
Right.
It's a wonderful course.
It is.
Yeah. Well, let's go back through this thing, the way you say you got started with this
Sure.
World of Color Golf. You were taking some courses or playing yourself, and you didn't see women, too many women out there, no women.
Yes, right.
So you say, well, gosh, somebody need to come up with an organization where there'd be a lot of women.
Yes, yes. And again, it was through a lot of conversation with Dr. Cooper because he had written the report for the World Golf Foundation on Diversity and Inclusion that talked about the disparity of minorities and women in golf. And when I began to play, I loved it and realized there were not many women that looked like myself, and that I took the Lockheed Martin severance package and I started Women of Color Golf because I wanted to change it for the women and the girls that were coming behind me.
Name some of the courses. I think you
Sure.
mentioned Rogers Park. I say Rogers Park because it's very close.
Yes, we have had some half-day golf clinics at Rogers Park, and we go to Babes of Harris and Rocky Point. So we like to support Kenny Sims when we can at Tampa Sports Authority and encourage people to play at those courses as well.
I have a grandson. He was on the golf team at King High School. His name is Johnny Liggins.
Okay.
And he eventually made captain of that golf team at King, a graduate. He was supposed to have a scholarship down at Southwestern College or someplace down there, but something happened. They didn't give freshmen scholarships, so that was the same thing. And he went to HCC, and they didn't have the golf program then to get involved with.
Right.
And he fumbles around with it now, but he did go all over the country playing golf. His mother and father Bill and Yolanda Liggins, they really put a lot into him to go and play golf.
Right.
And I had something to do a little bit with him in his early days because, first of all, he was playing soccer.
Okay.
But he didn't like soccer too well because he kicked the ball to the wrong goal. he got embarrassed there. So I got his mother and father and got him also interested in playing
Oh, that's
golf.
wonderful.
And I was looking forward to that. But he's struggling now and trying to find his way. And like many of the kids, I know they always have a little rough road to hoe, and we pray and ask God to lead, guide, and direct him back to golf and whatever have you.
Absolutely.
Now, this Hale, Darlene Hale, are you familiar with her?
Yes.
She plays pro golf, and she's going to take Johnny Liggins under her wing and do some things with it.
That's wonderful.
Can you say something about Darlene Hale to the public?
Well, I just think she's a wonderful person. She's a great golfer.
Yes.
And she is extremely supportive of women and girls in golf and embracing the game.
If I may brag about it, I got to know her very personal, and we played together and won a tournament.
Did you really?
Yes, she and I won a tournament at Rogers Park. She could really hit that golf ball. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
so
you got a lot.
She carried me along on that.
She carried you along, Coach.
Well, I was kind of holding my own a little bit, but she was the pro golf. She carried me through, and she could really putt, too.
Yeah.
Oh, man, she was knocking them in.
I love it.
Well, from Rogers Park, I had an opportunity to play Babe Sahara
Okay.
in Rocky Point.
Yes.
I liked Rocky Point real well because they had a different type grass out there. And it wasn't too far from my living area.
Okay.
But let's go back to Babe Sahara's. When I was a caddy back at Palmacia Golf and Country Club, they used to call it Forest Hill.
Yes.
And they would come and get caddies, what they call out there, pro caddies, and Babe used to come and play there.
Did she really?
Yes, and she was on the pro tour and come and play there. And that's how I got the name Babe Sahara. That's somewhat included in there. What do you think about these two golf courses?
I like them. I mean, my favorite one, we tend to practice at Babe Sahara's on Sundays when we take the girls out. So we go on Sunday afternoon. So that is our preference right now. But we definitely want to give them an opportunity to play some more difficult courses, you know, once their skill level advances.
Now, there's one course around here they call the Claw.
Yes.
University of South Florida. Did you ever have any dealing with that with your group?
We have not yet. We've not had an opportunity to play at the Claw yet.
Yeah, I would advise you to try the Claw.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can learn something there. Now, going back to the fundamentals of golf, putting, chipping, and approach shot,
Right.
and driving the golf ball. How do you see your group? You got what percentage has advanced from here? What percentage? Any way you could break it down and let us know how they're doing?
Yeah, they're progressing. You know, it takes time.
Oh, much time. It takes time. You got to be patient.
And it takes a lot of practice. You know, a lot of them are working women. A lot of them are professional women. So they are slowly advancing from that beginner fundamental to the intermediate to on-course play, because the goal that Dr. Mike Cooper and I have as part of the World Golf Foundation is to grow the game of golf and create more recreational players so that they enjoy a fun-filled, active life for as long as you can. And so we've got several other ladies that are playing now. This group that we have in session is about to graduate, so they'll be starting their on-course play pretty shortly at Babe Sahara's.
Well, when it comes to golf, the thing golf teaches would be patience.
Yes.
You got to be patient.
You really do.
And it's all you. You can't put the fault on this person here, there. It's all you. And you have to have hard work. You got to have repetition, repeat these things over and over and over. You can't just go out 1 or 2 days and say, okay, I know how to putt now.
Right.
Oh, I know how to drive, or I know how to chip. You got to constantly daily work on it. And that repetition thing, that's why it doesn't bother me today when I have to do the same thing over and over. People say, I got to do the same thing over.
Right.
In coaching, it is repetition.
And you know about that being a coach.
And as a player, I went through so many drills. Now, the NFL has a thing they call an NFL combine, a combination of drills and compete.
Right.
Is there any place where your girls or your ladies compete in drills and against one another, or try to set up their scores or whatever?
At this point, we are not doing anything similar to a combine yet. Most of ours is primarily a lot of the repetition and practice on an actual golf course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, your golf course been there, I think you said 4 more years.
Yes.
4 more years. Now, have there been anyone started with you started with you that's still with you now, and have they made progress where they can get on the tee and play a hole of golf?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we have several women's, but we have several ladies that have that are still with me. One of them is a young lady by the name of Robin Thompson, and so she and I have a mentor-mentee relationship, so I'm grooming her as well to understand about the nonprofit business side. And Robin has not only excelled on the golf course, but what we're finding, Coach, as you know, the benefit for a minority woman is really access and opportunity. She's in corporate America, and once she started playing golf, it gave her visibility from being, sitting in the back, to moving to visibility in front of her corporate executives, and even getting an invitation to play golf, which would have been unheard of before had she not taken the lessons.
Okay. Now let's get a review of this board of directors. To me, a board of directors is a top chef thing who overlook and oversee different things, give direction to rules, make contribution, and influence other people to come in.
Right.
Talk about your board of directors with Dr. Mike Cooper and all.
Well, sure, with Dr. Mike. So we have Dr. Mike Cooper, who has definitely been in the golf industry for,
years.
Yes, as he would say, more than he'd like to say.
Years, yeah.
And he has just been very extremely instrumental in guiding that ship. And helping us to set a strategic plan and strategic directions, because he sits actually with the CEO of the World Golf Foundation, Mr. Steve Mona, to make sure that we are aligned with their strategic objectives in terms of growing the game of golf, which includes more minorities in the workforce, more minorities in supplier diversity, more minorities in competitive play, and then more minorities in recreational play. And that is the area where Women of Golf fits in to align with really a worldwide global strategy. And so we're just really pleased with his direction and guidance that we've been able to bring in that many people. I mean, we started getting calls immediately from the United States Golf Association saying, what are you doing down there in Tampa? Because we've never seen these kinds of numbers.
And you say, we're doing remarkably well down here.
We are.
Now, let's go up to Washington, D.C., where you had those, where you were invited to go there.
Yes, that was life-changing. We actually got an invite, and of course, Dr. Cooper and I and 2 other people were able to attend. And we received a Champion of Change Award for individuals making a change in their community for women and girls in a unique sport, in a marginalized area. So we got a golf ball signed by President Obama.
Wow.
We got a certificate. We got to speak on a panel to talk about the importance of women, and particularly, as you know, women in sports, and how that benefits a woman playing sports from many aspects. When Title IX was just getting started when I was leaving plant, so I got lucky.
Well, you did get lucky enough to carry that group there, and I know that's a long-lasting remembrance.
It is.
It's a thing that everybody should have an opportunity to do. But I feel I've been into the White House a couple of times.
Have you?
Yes, and I've never met the president, of course. It was a long walk and a stroll through there.
Right.
Now, as we see it now, you with the Women of Color Golf. one of the finest organizations women can get involved with is golf.
Yes.
And they're moving well. Do you have to fill out an application? Do you have to, you know?
Okay.
be on-
Well, once, we want to, our goal is to create recreational players because we want you playing. So we're not going to be meeting in a boardroom or sitting in four walls. We're going to be on a golf course. So what we recommend is, particularly for women new in the game, is that you enroll in a class because we want to make sure you really do like it and you
Right.
enjoy it. Once you take the 2 series of class, the Beginner 101 and the Intermediate 201, then you are allowed to join because our goal is to get you on the golf course to play.
Well, I want to say this to each and every one of you who are listening out there. You couldn't be dealing with a much finer person than Miss Clemmy Perry.
Aww.
And like I said, I know her father, Coach Charles Perry, graduate of Tuskegee, a great athlete in football and basketball at Tuskegee, and he coached football and basketball at Blake, and I got my start at Blake under him when we both were in football and basketball, along with Big Jim Williams.
Yes, yes.
And I know your mother real well, Miss Doris Perry Reddick. And
Yes,
she,
sir.
as I said, is a graduate of not Florida A&M. I want to put it Florida A&M, but she happened to graduate at Bethune-Cookman. So we want you to go back and say hello to your mother.
I will.
And also to Kenneth Perry
I
and
will.
Ross.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they're wonderful people, and your entire family. And I want to wish you well. If there's anything I can do to be a part of helping, and I'm sure Tampa Bay Community Network voices the same opinion with you. So
Thank you,
I want
Coach.
to say it's been a pleasure having you here.
No, it's my pleasure.
And I look forward to seeing some wonderful things with the Women of Color golf thing. So that's it for the Tampa Bay Community Network Sports Talk. Be with us again on our next show right here on the Tampa Bay Community Network Sports Talk.